about for all of these people like that are watching all these videos and like, wow, that looks so amazing, I want to try it, but their skill is probably not, I mean, like average or even below average, older people and so that that are like, I want to do this. I mean, do you think it's safe for that? Like, I look at it myself, and I go, I'm pretty experienced doing this. I mean, but I don't think I can do it. I'm like, it's spooky to me.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where I think a lot of people are gonna get into it, and there's probably gonna be maybe it's kind of like maybe learning how to windsurf on a shortboard. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried it, but I know a lot of people. I mean, it's definitely a learning curve. It takes a while to be able to water start and jibe and whatever. You have to put in a lot of hours to learn.
But how do you
right?
keep the lineup safe?
I think if
is
you can
mainly
learn,
what I'm talking about.
yeah, I mean, well,
You know,
yeah, I mean that's
someone
always
wipes
a
out
concern.
with that,
the
takes
sa-
out
the
3
safety,
people.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
freaking
mean,
dangerous.
you want to basically. The cool thing about the foils is that it kind of opens up spots that you wouldn't usually surf, or that's you can go on really small waves or slopey waves, and you can go out on days where nobody would go out. Different spots opens up new spots. So I would say, like, I would never go out in a super crowded day, especially when you're starting out. You just got to find a wave that's not crowded. Otherwise, it's not. I mean, you don't want to learn it. Like, once you learn it, you can control it, I would say, as well as a regular board. But yeah, you got that mass. So if you ran someone over into someone, it can be dangerous. But I think the biggest danger is just to yourself, actually, because you can fall on it. Like, one time in the wave, the board flipped underneath me, and I kind of hit the foil with my arm. And
That's dangerous.
yeah, so it's a pretty big thing underneath the board.
Well, you have a big bruise or what? At least you didn't get.
No,
did you get
it's
cut?
not a big bruise, and I mean, one of the good things about these Go foils is that all the edges are rounded off. They're pretty safe,
thick.
and they're made so it doesn't cut you, basically. There's some like some of the kite foils I've seen, like guys actually like wet sanding them and making the edges all sharp for super fast air.
Well, they're going so much faster
yeah,
too. Yeah,
but and those guys are racing and trying to get every little
So
every little
dangerous.
speed out of it. But yeah, if you fall on one of those, they're like Ginsu knives,
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, basically, if you have any sharp edges, and I've noticed, like, my friend got one of those F1 foils. I think they're out of France, and that one, the mast had really sharp edges. I was like, you better sand this thing down, because if you ran, like, even if your leg slides along the edge, you would just cut yourself open.
It's kind of interesting
It's
though,
like-
because
yeah.
the future fins, the racing fins, they had that
Yeah.
really kind of thick leading edge too, and the guy was telling me that the thicker edge was making it more aerodynamic, more hydrodynamic or whatever. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the thick. Yeah, it's kind of like a rounded nose on the race board is not necessarily slower than a pointy nose. It's just kind of how the water flows around it, and the shape of it, and the profile, and so on. So and the Go foil, I think one of the things that makes it work is that really thick profile. It's not a thin profile like a fin. It's like an inch or almost 2 inches thick. It seems like So it's very
almost like
beefy.
a pipe.
And so yeah, I mean, basically it splits up the water, and the water that has to go over that longer distance, the bottom is kind of flat, and the other side has a lot of curve to it, so that creates a lot of lift. So it's not just the angle of the foil to the water, but it's that thick profile that creates a lot of lift.
So what are the top 3 things you need to know for safety for this thing?
Okay, so everybody, first of all, you got to get behind a boat. I mean, without doing that, I wouldn't even attempt to go in the waves or anything like that. You just got to get the feel from a boat, and then the trick is to kind of make sure your feet are in exactly the right place, in the right spot.
Strapped in on a boat or not strapped in necessarily?
I would say not strapped in. Probably is better to.
And
learn.
how fast is the boat going?
So for the Go foil, maybe think about 8 to 10 or 12 miles an hour.
Pretty
something
slow.
Like that. Yeah, not more than 12. So so the first thing is your feet have to be exactly in the right place. So the back foot on top of the mast, basically where the screws go through the deck, and the front foot pretty far forward, like on my 8.0, it's like in front of the handle of the middle board, so further, so you have a pretty wide stance.
So wider than like naturally normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, where you're standing, like the foil behind you, the foil should be right between your legs. So your weight, your your center of gravity is right over that big foil wing in the front. So because that creates a lift, and if you're not right on top of it, if the foil's right here and you're like slightly off to one side or not balanced right, it'll either come up too fast or not come up, or just twist sideways.
Well, so how much leeway do you have?
So
like
you only
a couple inches?
Not much at all. You know, like on a board, like when you've taken off, you can be like all the way on one rail and you just carve onto that rail, right? So on this board, if you do that and the board lifts, you'll
fall off.
The foil will just flip. You know, you just have a rolling turn, and you can't control it at all. So you have to be within inches of or maybe less than an inch from where you have to be. You know, so if your weight is slightly off, it's not going to work. You know?
So it's a total feel thing, yeah.
So you want it basically you start really slow. You keep the foil flat. You know, keep it on the water, and then the tricky part is not to get it to lift, but to keep it level. You know, so you know if you lift too quickly and you got your weight too far back, it'll just shoot up all the way out of the water, and then once it breaches the surface, you just crash.
So like when you're dropping in, if you dropped in on the wave and you kind of taking that angle, it's not really even, so you have to almost get the thing to lift going straight first and then make your turn.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, on this board I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I think you pretty much have to go straight, and then once you're flying, it's very sensitive, so all you really have to do is like kind of redirect it and follow it. You know, it's not like you have to lean into the turn. You have to be like right like at the same angle as the foil. So if you angle the foil, like you can't just lean into it. If the foil isn't leaning into it, then you know, some guys are getting pretty good at doing like tight turns, but it's very, very sensitive. So you can't just like, it's totally different than turning it board usually, you know.
So what are the guys saying about downwind? Are they saying that it's easier on this foil to go downwind? They can get longer rides or anything, or they're still figuring it out? What are they saying?
You know, I haven't really seen anybody on Oahu doing it yet. So and I don't know anybody personally that's done it. I mean, I've seen video of Connor and Kai, but I haven't talked to them about it. So I haven't tried it myself, so until I've tried it myself, like it's hard to say. And I've seen videos of some guys trying it, but not really getting anything. So not getting it foiling. So I think it's a lot harder than it looks. You know,
I think so.
Like the video that Kai put out, everyone was like, "Wow, this is awesome! I want to do this." You know. So, but then you know, the reality is it's definitely not an easy thing. And you know, one of the cool things about stand-up is that it's so user-friendly and anybody can do it. You just need water, like lakes, rivers, anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
And that makes it such a cool sport. It's so inclusive, you know? So I'm a little bit concerned that the foiling, I love it and it makes it so exciting to me, but a little bit worried about for the industry what it's going to do. It's kind of, you know, is it going to become extreme where everyone has to be like a foil boarder? Otherwise it's not interesting anymore, you know?
I know.
And it's kind of a little bit what's happening
so.
with kiting, you know, almost all the kiters are now getting into foiling.
Oh, really?
So yeah, and so if you're not foiling, and it's like, oh, you're just a kiter. You're just kiting. You're not a foil kiter. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think that I'm a little bit concerned about that. It's going to kind of make the sport too extreme, maybe, you know, for people. And then
I don't know about that because most people are not going to be able to do it.
Right.
That's my guess.
Yeah,
my guess is that most people are not going to be able to ride this foil.
And you're right about that. It's definitely not.
I mean, you say you're average, but you're riding an inflatable 9 or 10 foot board that time at Jocko's North Shore in like double overhead surf going down. I mean, most people can't even that's you know. So
well, I mean, I would say I'm definitely not average. I'm not average, but I'm not a pro level surfer or anything like that. And but yeah, I mean, I'm you know, definitely better than like the beginners or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I would say
you're at least out of like 1 to 10 or something like that. 10 being like, I would say, you know, like Laird and Connor and those guys. Let's put them at 10. You're at least an 8, like 7 or 8 at least. I mean 8. Okay, you know what I mean? Because you're still winning all that. You've won amateur stuff and So if it's guys that are like 5, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see it, to believe it.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of guys here in Hawaii in the water that are better stand-up surfers than I am. I'm much better.
So those guys can do it, but not the bulk majority. I don't think.
So. Yeah,
or gals,
it's kind of,
or those ladies.
I think it's the guys that are, you know, go out all the time and they got good balance. They can surf and they can judge
guys
the
your
waves
level
and stuff like that. Yeah, so maybe 7s or 8s or whatever you want to say. Call them.
There's not that many of them.
Yeah, it's not a huge market, but you know, I mean, like if you look at the market now for high performance stand-up surfboards, it's starting to be a decent market. You know, it used to be all beginner boards, but now more and more people are getting into like trying. You know, they want like a more performance board. You know, so for us, we're starting to sell more and more smaller boards. You know, under 10 feet or like in the 9-foot range. You know?
But those boards too these days that are shorter and more performance, they're better than they used to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A 10-foot board in like 6 years ago or something like that was freaking super hard to ride.
Yeah.
It was narrow and I mean, it's super
wider
hard.
And shorter is kind of
super hard.
The way everyone's going.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I mean, and definitely also, if you're not a good stand-up surfer, don't even attempt to foil. You know, like you got to learn the basics on a stand-up surfboard first, and then when you like people think, oh, is it easier than stand-up surfing? It's like, no, it's not easier. It's much harder.
Yeah.
So learn the basics first on a stand-up board. Get good and comfortable on a regular stand-up surfboard before you even attempt to foil. You know, because you need those skills to be able to fly a foil. You know.
Yeah.
And then it's still like learning a whole new sport, basically. You know, like don't think that because you're a good surfer, it's kind of like, it's like kind of like the guys that are really good surfers and they think they can just jump on a high performance stand-up board and rip. It's the same kind of thing, you know. No, it's not the same thing. You know, it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
So and on the foil board, it's even more so, I would say, because like a lot of the things that you learn from surfing don't apply. Like, you know, when you're dropping in on a wave and you lean back to keep the nose up and you lean back into the wave to slow down or stall or whatever, that doesn't work on a foil at all. If you lean back, you're just going to crash and wipe out. You got to actually lean forward and angle the board at the angle of the wave and to keep it flying level, because if you bring the nose up higher than like if this is the wave and this is your board, if you have too much of an angle to the slope of the wave, the thing's just going to shoot up. So you have to always keep the board at the same level of the wave to keep it flying level, you know.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please comment, give us a thumbs up, and see you next time.